To the Tavern. A little about us, we're your at-home interactive weekly geek con, all blended with wit, sarcasm, and a pub-like atmosphere. We're adults talking about adult topics and using adult language. We laugh and make jokes about almost everything. We don't intend to upset, but some folks have their feelings hurt easily. This is all done in humor in the style of the great offenders such as George Carlin, Red Fox, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Wanda Sykes, Sam Kinison, George Lopez, Lisa Lampanelli, Chris Rock, and others. So grab your vice of choice, sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy yourself in the company of great people, hot toddies, and guests alike, because here we come.
Put that long day behind you, good times lie ahead, with company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear, cause we're the talk at the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk at the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk at the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk at the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to Talk of the Tavern, April 10th, with Tuesday Tunes with our special guest, Bob Eisenstein of Victor Sierra.
Hello guys. Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And I tell you what, I'm going to go over my vices real quick, and then Andrea can, then you could tell us what your vice is today. Today I have just coffee, because here it's mid-afternoon, but also a little brandy for afterwards. And I will be smoking a beautiful freehand, one of my favorites, with cross-eyed cricket, which is it's a Latakia with a bit of I believe a rum punch aromatic to it, so it's very nice. Andrea, what's your vices today?
I'm gonna say salut. I have Le Cafe and Lou. How do you say water?
Low.
Low.
Right.
So very good. Now, Bob, what do you got today? What's your vices?
I have some Jack. Some Jack. Yeah.
Everybody knows what that is. Doesn't need a last name for that.
Yeah. But it is. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Jack Daniel's Flash as well.
It is.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to you. Let's do the opening toast, actually, so he can have a second drink. Hey,
yeah.
Here's to crossing the pond and reminding what we have in common and learning what we have that's different.
Cheers.
And hello to everybody who's already jumped in and joined us early in the broadcast here. Usually the reason I played a long intro is because we do have that delay with the commercial type thing in the beginning. So it doesn't matter. Let's just play that long intro. And by the way, did you like the music?
Yes, I enjoyed it a lot.
That was Mark Rossmore of Escape the Clouds and SteampunkMusic.com.
Okay, Mark.
That was,
yes, of course.
That was his work, and I tell you what, I've considered getting another theme song just for Tuesday Tunes, the gaming, or Thursday, which is Virtual International Pub. I'm still debating if I want to go harass my musician friends. I'm looking at you. With, hey, write a 45-second song. Where's my lighter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Mark Rossmore. Last time I saw him and he went here at my place, I think 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like this, 2 years ago, and we had dinner here with his wife. Right.
Nice.
I'm Mark. Escape the Clouds, one of my favorite bands in the steampunk world.
It is. It's and I do have favorites, and I'll give you a hint. The people I like the best get played the most. Then the music I like the best gets played second most. And the rest just follow behind. So the good news is folks like Mark and yourself, you're at the top of both of those lists. So I make sure I get you in rotation.
Thank you. I'm going to blush.
Oh, it's See, now for background for folks watching with Bob, I have known Bob online mostly, but interacted via Facebook Messenger and whatnot since shortly after Sounds of Steam began. Bob has always been supportive in making sure I have his latest album to play the songs, which maybe he looks at it like I'm supporting him, but to me, that he's supporting me.
Yes, totally.
And anytime I've needed anything, like I asked him to do a recording of, hey, this is Bob, and you're listening to Sounds of Steam at the time. And, you know what, Andrew, we totally forgot to do the video of him saying, this is Bob, and you're listening to Talk of the Tavern, or you're watching Talk of the Tavern. We have to do that before we get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to do that right now?
Do it. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make your screen big. I'm going to come over here and unclick off of that. And so these things go away. Now, what I'd love for you to do is just give a little toast with your water bottle or your flask, whatever. And then you could say, you know, I got toasted on Talk of the Tavern. You could say you're watching Talk of the Tavern. But, of course, your name, your band, and then whatever silly thing you want to say.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Commander Bob from Victor Sierra, and you're listening to the Talk of the Tavern with the fantastic Travis Sivart and Andrea D'Amico.
There we go. Here's you. Thank you for that.
No, it was my pleasure to do it.
Now we'll have to remember to pull that out so we can post it.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm writing that down.
Thank you. It's so yeah, this is what I've realized I need to do, because I made this video I told you about with all the recorded audio clips, and then I took a picture and put the picture where the audio clip is. So now you're the first one that I'll have the video of this for.
I am very pleased. I'm honored.
Pardon me here.
No, please.
There we go.
Please proceed with your pipe.
There we go. We'll proceed with the pipe puffing, Pally.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I do have a list of questions, and I only wrote down the questions because I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. But I wrote these down so I don't actually forget what I want to talk about. But I did want to continue with. So Bob has been very supportive. Another thing about Bob and Victor Sierra is, they also let me post. I don't post every week what the event is for Talk of the Tavern, but when I feel it's relevant, I'll go pop it up onto his fan page, and he's always said, okay, go ahead and post that, and even liked it. So he's not just being nice, he liked it. I saw that thumbs up thing. So, in other words, he's always been supportive of the community outside of his own band, and that means a lot to me when people share the other bands, the other shows, the other writers. It means something, bud.
Yeah, we have friends. We have we have very, very good friends. We have good friends. We have friends. We have people we don't care about, and we have enemies too.
Very few of those, hopefully.
Yeah, but some big names.
Oh, really? Well, we will not discuss that on air, that's for sure.
No. And I don't want to talk about them. Not even saying their names.
Absolutely.
But we have a lot of good friends, and I know that I can count on very good friends as Travis, and for example, another very good friend you should talk to each other. Woolly Still, Atticus Oldman from Scotland. Yeah.
Yes, it's actually, I'm going to make a note here because I'm looking for other people to bring on the show, especially on Thursday's VIP International Pub.
Yeah. Woolly Still would be a very good guest.
Say that again.
Woolly Still, Atticus Oldman.
Okay, see, Atticus Oldman, I know is same person, same name.
Same person, yes, same person.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, do you know Greg Chapman?
I spoke with him a few days ago, and I speak with a lot of people, and except the ones like you, I speak with for such a long time. I think I sent him a song for something?
probably for his web series, his steampunk web series.
Yes,
Which is-
exactly. Yes.
Which is
yeah.
why I bring it
So
up. I'm going
yeah.
to mention to
And-
him that you were doing your own web series, so maybe he can use you in his.
Yeah, and Greg, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I speak with so many people on Facebook that I didn't spot your name immediately.
He will understand.
Immediately.
He's
Yeah,
again
yeah.
one of those good guys who I try to support because
Yeah.
he's. And do you know Dale Rolls of BB Black Dog?
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yes, of course.
Stephen of Gasp. Stephen
Yeah,
Davis.
yeah, absolutely.
If you
yeah.
didn't, I want to put you guys together in some aspect because you have similarities in the way you support the community, each other, etc. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure.
So I think that's the intro. Yeah, Victor Sierra was one of the first handful of bands that got me music. And there's a reason I've kept going back for more every time I see any announcement of, oh, we have a new album. I'm immediately like sending a message going, hey, don't forget, I'll play it for you. It's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
good music, good people. Done deal.
Yes. Yeah. We have found so many good people in the steampunk community. Even if of course there are problems with some people and with some
Yes.
events and some but generally we get along very well with all the steampunk community all around the world.
So what made you go for steampunk? And what you do before steampunk? I assume you've had a band for a while.
Yeah, I've been a musician for a very long time now, and I have crossed many paths. I've been in many music community, but steampunk was like shoes waiting for me in the middle of the road of my road, and all of a sudden I found the perfect shoes or perfect boots, fitting definitely exactly the shape of my feet to go on my road. And it is at the point, for example, on our first EP called Secret Page, there's a song called La Salle des Machines, the engine room, and it was written a few months before I first heard of the word steampunk. I didn't know the word, and it is when Big Machine, the third member of Victor Sierra, after 3 weeks rehearsals, speaking, chatting, he told me we are a steampunk band, and I say, what? A steampunk band? Do you know steampunk band? You know, the people wearing goggles and top hats. And I said, no, I never heard of them. But all of a sudden, it was home.
Mm-hmm.
It was our place. We haven't changed a lot of things in our music. Of course, we took things that were interesting for us.
Sure.
The clothes, the outfits, the contraptions, but it was exactly the meeting that we needed.
I tell you what, you have really embraced it. All your album covers, and I like your dystopian, borderline apocalyptic feel to what you do, because it's almost, for me, from what I see from you, the future steampunk as opposed to the historic steampunk. This is after society collapses and we kind of regress on technology. Am I off base with that one, or do you feel like you're
right,
1880 or 100 years from now type steampunk?
Yeah, spot on. I would say, but all this apocalyptic thing is to be taken. I was about to say in the light way, but it's not. Actually, it's not, because
You do have a heavy feel.
I'm sorry.
You have a very heavy feel. You have a dark, brooding feel, but it's also got this
Yeah.
this spike of hope that cuts through. It's like a rusty piece of metal, and the way it'll take your hand by surprise. That's in your music. It's this brightness
right.
that's hidden in the dark cloud, and you just see that one piercing ray come through, and you're like, that.
Yeah, hope is important. Yeah.
It's so what do you do before steampunk music? What were you before Victor Sierra?
I've been in a lot of things. I played new wave, rock and roll. I've been 10 years in the in techno.
Very good.
I played folk songs. Something people don't believe usually. I love country music. Some of them, not all country.
With country music, I love the storytelling behind country music. It tells a tale quite often, and that might be a whiny tale or about their dog and their beer and their truck, but it tells a story. And I've always liked songs that do more than just.
You know what I remember during one of my stays in the United States a long time ago. I took the Greyhound bus at 5 a.m, and I was totally in the American, let's say, hobo life. Mm-hmm. Not hobo, obviously, but kind of.
I got you.
And I was at 5 a.m. with all the bombs at the station and the bus, and there was that song, which was no country. It was people call me a teenage idol on the radio of the Greyhound bus. It was totally night, and I was bound for Tulsa, Oklahoma, I think, and I was totally in this country music dream I had. I was very impressed.
No, I understand. You have a certain image of places you go, and when you find yourself in that picture you had in your head, and you're walking around in a living version of what you expected, it's wow. It's definitely.
And I was on the Route 66.
Oh, classic!
It was my itinerary. Itinerary.
Itinerary. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
We knew what you meant. Oh, by the way, another Bob has joined us and is watching right now. So, Navy Dad, Bob, good to see you. Glad to see you snuck away in the middle of work to check out the day show. It's a little different from our Monday night show. Yeah, it's this is our favorite inappropriate person who joins us on Monday nights and says things that other people can't get away with. So we like that, Bob, and here we are with another Bob. So, and there was some comment I had about. Do you have any of your old techno recordings?
I have some very old things, but I have.
The reason I ask,
the problem is that I don't look back. Well,
the reason I ask is when I write, and I've written many books, I put on words generally without lyrics, or else if they are lyrics, they're like one word repeated. So techno works great when I'm writing because it doesn't pull me out of what I'm writing. It just helps move me forward. So that's why I'm asking. I'm looking for decent techno to put on while I'm writing, not to put on the show.
Okay.
So if you have something, let me know.
I will try. I'll try to find you something.
And if you don't worry about it. I have a ton of stuff, but it's always good to have more. So instead of a 30-hour playlist, I can have a 50-hour playlist and never hear the same thing twice.
Yeah, I remember I had there's two tracks of which I remember the title. There was one called the Orson Song because I'm a very, very big fan of Orson Welles.
Oh, no.
And I think it was probably the first one I wrote, and probably the last I wrote was a pun. There is a pun in the title. It was called "Selfish Network."
Huh.
Yeah. And I'll try. I'll try to find them for you, and I'll send them to you.
I will not complain. I will be appreciative.
Okay.
Let me look what else we got here. So we got that. We covered quite. Here's what I wanted to ask. So what's with the name Victor Sierra? Where does this come from?
Where does it come from? It was. I would say that it was steampunk before when we even know about the word steampunk.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted. There's several stories about it.
Tell them all.
I wanted a name for the band that didn't that wasn't referring to something very, very precise or very understandable at first sight. Then I think of this code. It's a code name. It's a code name. Actually, during World War II, someone was bearing this name, but it would have been anyone else. It was just a code name. And after that, I realized it was also two letters from the aviators alphabet. You know,
yes.
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta,
Correct.
Echo, Fox. Yeah. Okay. So I thought at the moment that it was a good name. It was also like it was the name of a one person, and it wasn't, of course. So there is a lot of mystery about the name, and I must admit I don't remember all the aspects myself.
Something I have realized with the name, it being Victor Sierra, the two letters out of the call sign alphabet, VS, which put together that means versus. So it also gives you a feel of, you versus the world, or one thing versus something else.
At the time, I hadn't thought of that, but
well, it shows how other people can give their own meaning to your name, which is always kind of nice if they're taking it in.
Yeah, I would rather go. Absolutely, I would rather go for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot to it, and that's good enough. It's I have heard worse origin stories for names, such as
I suppose so.
Hootie and the Blowfish. You know where that title comes from? Hootie and the Blowfish. It's an American band, but they got their name from Monty Python, who one time they.
Don't mess with Monty Python, man.
Well, no, not at all. It's Monty Python did a skit where they were doing a news thing. And they announced, oh, you know what? No, it was not Hootie and the Blowfish. I'm sorry. It was Toad and the Wet Sprocket. That band was in the Monty Python skit where they're like, oh, and the new band, Toad and the Wet Sprocket, making fun of band names. And then 20, 30 years later, these kids who were fans of Monty Python makes a rock band and names it after that Monty Python band.
I love that. Have you... did you see this photograph on Facebook of, I would say, 3 years ago probably, of a giant blue parrot on the wharf in London?
No.
It's a 15 meters parrot just put on the wharf in London to honor the Monty Python. It was
nice.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
I have the full DVD collection, and most of the movies. There's one or two I'm missing, but Netflix this month is bringing Monty Python on.
Yeah, this is great. Do you walk? Do you take a silly walk sometime?
I do. I have a bad knee, so I can't do too much with it. But absolutely, and any chance I get, I do slap somebody with a fish. Which is one of my favorite skits. Kevin, our British co-host that's on Monday nights, he likes to... You know what? I'm curious. Andrea, can you send him a message? Or can I send him a message?
I'm getting the parrot picture to put in the
chat. Great.
Let me pull up
That's
Kevin
awesome.
real quick, because did Kevin say he has off today? Or was that Thursday he has off,
Yes.
or both?
He's off today and Thursday.
Let me see.
He said he would probably pop in, but he wasn't sure. So
Let me
there you go.
quick send him a message and harass him and remind him that he said maybe, because that's another thing. Kevin does a lot of the music festivals in the UK. He's a fire eater. He's a professional chef. And
Okay.
I considering Monty Python, and he tells a story about where he was at work and got into a fish slapping contest with somebody. So that makes me think he might fit in very well. You know what? I am going to do this via my phone, because we're a limited internet here, so it's always fun to try to do two things at once on the internet.
I posted a link in the chat for the photo.
Okay, very good. Now, let me ask you, Bob. There's a few common questions that most people ask.
Yeah. Not a problem.
Let me.
Well, hey Travis, why don't you contact Kevin during the song?
Oh, that's a better idea, isn't it? Actually, let's play a song here real quick, and then we'll come back, talk a little bit about your music until we get bored or wander off from that. So,
okay.
Now, what I'm going to do for those of you watching, it's a new technology for us here. So I'm going to play a song, and we're still going to be here, or we might get up and wander away during the song, but it will allow me, we're going to mute ourselves. Otherwise, you'll hear us talking over the music. So this is from Steampunk Symphony. What album is that from?
It's both Secret Page, our first EP, and we put it on also in Yesterday's Tomorrow.
There you go.
But a slightly different version.
Oh, is there a
in the chat you can go to the Bandcamp to purchase this album. There's a link.
Bob, do you have a preferred version? Which version do you like better?
No. I don't have a preferred version.
Okay, I'm looking right now. Yeah, we got that one. Which one did I put? I have put the version off of Yesterday's Tomorrow. So it's, the big difference I see is 7 seconds. It's 7 seconds shorter. So yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, let's play this and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Be my guest, the
That was a steampunk symphony by Victor Sierra. So, I have a lot of comments and questions about this, Bob.
Okay.
Now, first of all, something I realized watching you as you're listening to your own music, when you went like this and covered the bottom half of your face, do you realize you look a lot like Hugh Jackman in the eyes?
Okay.
There you go. It's just something I realized. So maybe you can fool some people on the street and just speak with the Australian accent. And just...
Australian accent. He got me off guard, man.
We had a whole conversation.
But I will tell my son, who is a big fan of Hugh Jackman.
There you go. Just go like this and go, I'm Hugh Jackman. There you go. Yeah.
I'm Hugh Jackman.
There you go. Get the Wolverine claws out. Okay, a few things. First of all, I'm curious, how often do you listen to your own music?
Not very often. I must admit that, for example, Steampunk Symphony, I don't I think for 2 or 3 years or several years, I don't listen to our tunes very often, because
don't.
Yeah, because we, when you write a song, you live with the song. You go to sleep with the song. You wake up with the song. You eat with the song.
Right.
And after that, you record the song and you play it on stage, and you make interviews about the songs. And afterwards, the song, you just don't want to hear it anymore. And but it was pleasant to listen to the Steampunk Symphony after all these years. Yeah.
It's like revisiting an old friend.
Yes, exactly, and thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way with my books. I don't go read my own books. People who have read my books know more about the characters than I do because, like you, I've moved on. I don't look back. So,
exactly. Yeah.
By the way, hello to Madam Perry. Glad to see you. I peeked at the list, and since, I know who you are. And now, have you ever interacted with Madam Perry, Bob? She's Madam Perry. She's one of our viewers right now, and she has a podcast, and she brings guests on. So if you ever want another American audience to speak to, I will put the two of you in contact, because she's a great bit of fun.
Right.
And
okay, but my pleasure.
So you ever, by the way, Steampunk Symphony, I've always liked. I felt like it could be an anthem for the steampunk community, because it is the inevitable march, the mechanical beat, the steam, the industrial feel to it gives it such a I am moving forward no matter what. And I've just always felt it fits the hard work that goes into steampunk, as opposed to the light frilly stuff on top. There is a core of metal. Now, that might not be iron, that might be copper and brass, but it's still a metal core. So
yeah, it was actually it was my first, let's say, steampunk song.
Mm-hmm.
On this EP, our first EP, there was La Salle des Machines, which was a steampunk song before I was aware of the name.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember well, there was this song, very very slow, very very down tempo, called Pale Golden Flecks.
Yes.
It was for me it was also a steampunk song, but a steampunk symphony bore the name.
Mm-hmm.
Correct to say.
Very good.
Yeah, bore the word, and it was. I can feel a lot like it was my first steampunk song.
It's good. It really is. And by the way, do you ever? I love Anouk's voice. I love an older, mature alto who it has a depth, it has a reverberation, it's got soul, it's got life, it's got experience to it. You ever listen to is she your wife, if I can ask that?
I'm sorry?
Is she your wife?
Yes.
I don't want to refer
my
to
wife.
her.
Yeah.
Okay. You ever listen to your wife's voice and just bask in it and be fascinated and go, just incredible voice?
So I will tell her, because she will be very happy to know that. Well, she knows she has a very particular voice, but it's always pleasant for her to get some compliments.
So do you ever just sit there and get lost in it when she's singing?
Sorry?
Do you ever just get lost in her voice when she's singing?
No, because I'm very demanding.
Gotcha. You're busy picking it apart, making it better.
Yeah, and you can easily guess that I will always spot the little flaws and ask her to correct that, to correct them, and but I know she has this incredible voice. But we have to improve day after day, year after year, album after album.
Right. Well, and it goes really well with yours. With you doing the backups and everything behind that, it blends so well.
Thank you.
Let's see. I took notes. Oh, here's the other note I have for this. So in this song, you actually mentioned the Hydrogen Queen, which is the name of your airship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was the first time. And
tell us a story.
I did. There is no story. I was writing the song, and I can tell you, it came like this. The phrase, listening to the sound of the Hydrogen Queen. It was.
It's a wonderful name. You see so many steampunk ship names, kind of like your band name, where it's obviously they wanted this to sound steampunk, and here's a name, whether it's your band or the ship, that it obviously fits steampunk very well, but you don't feel like it was made so people go, oh, that's steampunk. It's got its own brackets around it. It's its own thing.
I'm going to confess something. At the beginning, I made an English mistake. I thought it was the Hydrogen Queen without the final E. Sorry. And I asked Anouk, because I asked her to correct her accent in English, and I told her, if this is Hydrogen Queen, and she told me, can you check? Okay, I checked, and I was ashamed. So it was the Hydrogen Queen.
At least you checked. That's credit there.
Yeah.
That's a smart man there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the feel of it. It would fit well, whether it's looking at metal or looking at diesel punk or looking at steampunk or techno. It fits so many places. Your ship can travel.
Yes, and this is for me the main thing in the let's say the steampunk world. You have to set you free. This is a place where you can work, you can imagine, you can invent, you can write songs, you can obviously respecting other people, but it's a place to be free. And I remember when we shared a stage a few years ago in North France with Professor Elemental. He was telling us that a lot of people didn't like his shoes. He wore sneakers, you know. So they said to him, "Man, this is not steampunk. You can wear sneakers with your pith helmet and your jacket." And he just said, "Just fuck off. I wear what I want," and that was it. And it's important to keep this freedom of speech, freedom of
expression,
expression, creation, and such. Yeah.
I agree. It definitely. And by the way, speaking of Anouk previously, if I remember correctly, a few years ago, you and I were talking, and you said she learned a lot of her English just to do the lyrics in English, which I want to talk about. First of all, she does well. Second of all, why English? Why not keep it in French or other language you're more familiar with?
Because actually I was born in the wrong country. That's the reason why.
So which country were you supposed to be born in? Zimbabwe?
No, United States of America.
Okay.
I should have been I should have been born in the U.S. The story is, I remember when I was a child, but very very little. I was listening to the radio with my mother, and I remember one day I asked her to sing me a song, but I think I was 2.5 or 3 or 4. Wait, well, 3, I think. And she told me, I can't sing it for you because I don't know the lyrics. And for me, the lyrics, I don't know why the lyrics had to be in English. You know?
I do.
I can't tell you why, because my mother doesn't speak English. I don't even remember if it was an English song or a French one.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this mystery of the lyrics, and it was in English.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
So when did you start learning English? How old were you?
I think I started with one of my uncle. I was 10, but it was a high school English. He wasn't English. He wasn't British or else. And then afterwards, I learned this high school English, which is in France, which is very bad. And I was always thinking of improving my English. And after some years, I started to speak more often with my sister, who was an English teacher at the time, this period of time. And afterwards, I started a few years ago to speak. I was telling you to speak every day with my very good friend Wendy Creed, who is a former teacher from Greenwich University, I think, in London, and I enjoy very much our lessons.
Very good. Your English is better than many Americans, so you're doing well.
Thank you, sir.
See,
I try.
No, that accent. When black comedians do a white guy voice, it's that accent.
It is.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's,
No.
So, I wrote a note and I can't read my handwriting. So
welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, Travis.
You said something about a new album coming out.
Yes.
You want to tell us about
that? It's almost done. I have just a few songs to master.
So why that title?
The title of the album is The Manchurian Pass. It's a pass that doesn't exist in our world. Mm-hmm. But obviously it exists in the steampunk world, in the Altiverse.
Of course.
Yeah. And there is obviously some whiff of mystery about it. But at the moment, I haven't been told about it, so I will leave it for a further interview.
Very good, very good. Now, a few years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even 4, you started to do a video or a web series or something where you had me record something.
Yeah.
What went on with that? Where'd that go? Is that coming back?
It was a flop.
Ah.
It was a flop because it was a good idea. Anouk had it. It was a good idea. I laughed a lot with your Russian accent.
Yeah.
Yes, you remember that.
Yeah.
But you were so few of you.
I understand.
Reply to my call. That was you. That was Sula Hoops, and I think it was because you told her about it.
Correct, and Dave Lee.
That was Dave Lee, a good friend of ours who is a very good writer from Canada. She is called J.M. Frey.
Okay.
If you happen to know her. And I think perhaps Constance Bashford, she's a model from the Netherlands, and that was it, and that was it. It was a flop, and I wanted to have at least I don't know, but 20 or 25 people replying to that, and I had only 5, and it wasn't enough.
I understand.
Then I leave the idea, and I leave it where it was. Perhaps I will start over in a few years if we're lucky enough to have more people to do it.
Well, if you decide to do it again, let us know. We'll bring you back on the show. We'll try to stir the pot a little and get some other... And people like Dale Rolls of BB Black Dog, Montague Jacques Fromage, Greg. These are people I speak to on a regular basis, and we'll enlist their help and see what else we can get. It,
Yeah, I know these people, and I know that they won't miss the call for this kind of crazy ideas.
Exactly. Yeah. It's we'll just get. It's like herding cats. It's like if you had a field full of cats that you're trying to get them all to go in the same direction and listen to you. It's difficult, and that's the hardest part of any project. This is why we do so many things all by ourselves, because at least we know we can kick our own butt and go, hey, get this done.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's what I tell my friends that call on me for this kind of help. It's like, don't give me a 2-month window. Give me a week and a half and say I need it in this time.
Yeah.
Because then I'll be like, let me do it now.
Yeah. You need your ass kicked.
You do. Get it in the motion in there.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We covered why English. So you're doing voiceover work now. What kind of voiceover work you doing?
The most important things I did was I did a few years ago. I did a live voiceover, the kind of voice of God for EasyJet. It was an annual, what do you call it? An annual meeting for the company.
Mm-hmm.
They had this what do you call it? Mock award ceremony, and I was the voice of God, and it was rather important for me because it was in English. Right. It was the first time I was doing it live. I was very impressed. I almost peed my pants. I must admit that. and afterwards, I did a rather important thing because it was a world campaign for Desperados. It was a commercial. It was Desperados to the bone.
I like the feel of it.
Yeah.
And God calling out Desperados, huh?
Desperados to the bone. Desperados, tequila flavored beer.
Ooh, it's a beer.
Yeah, it's a beer. Yeah,
even better.
You don't know Desperados?
No.
Perhaps it's totally unknown in the United States. It's some kind of beer way too sugary. Is it sugary for me?
I can understand that. Yeah.
Not sugary. Way too
sweet.
Too sweet for me. Yeah, and it's flavored with a whiff of tequila.
Okay.
Tequila, and it's not. Well, a lot of people like it in Europe. And it's labeled Mexican, Desperados.
Yep. Yeah, if it's going to have tequila, it's going to be Mexican feel to it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I like a bold, savory beer. I like something with a broader. Sweet is not for me in my beers. Yeah.
And it would be good if it wasn't that sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
that's Americans. We love our sugar.
It's a general audience beer.
Gotcha. I remember when we were in UK visiting Kevin, and we did a pub crawl. He has like 16 pubs within like a mile of him. So we started at the top of the hill and worked our way down into all these pubs, having a half pint each way.
I imagine that. Yeah.
We went into one that's a chain. He's like, we almost skipped it. I'm like, let's go in anyway. Let's look. Let's experience this. And he goes, fine, I'll get an American beer here. And he started to go for Budweiser or something. Like, whoa, stop. Here's a beer that's brewed in Virginia, where we live, called Devil's Backbone, and it's a lager. Try that instead of one of these.
Backbone.
Yeah, it's a decent. I keep it in the fridge as opposed to a lot of the others because it's nice, bold, well-rounded, savory. It's good.
I have to show you something.
Well, there you go. You drank it all.
But guess where I bought it?
Germany?
You wouldn't. No. No.
I just guess. I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
South China.
That makes sense.
I bought it many decades ago. Where was it? It was in the Guangdong region.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bluffed. And I bought it. The Budweiser can.
There you go. So you've traveled quite a bit then, haven't you? And hello to Toei, hello to Skipper. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you.
Hello.
There you go. If you guys don't know, this is Bob Eisenstein of Victor Sierra. So great band. Andrea's posting links. Check out their stuff. Like the pages.
Hello, guys.
Buy some
music.
music.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Where all have you traveled?
I've been, in China once. I've been in Israel. Mm-hmm. I've been in Turkey. I've been. I spent a lot of time in Spain. It was a long time ago in another life. I spent a lot of time in Barcelona. That's the place where I learned Spanish because I didn't take Spanish at school. Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, Italy.
How many languages do you speak?
I was rather fluent in Spanish, but I think I spent too much time not speaking it to be that fluent. Podría hablar español contigo si quieres, pero hace mucho que no he hablado.
See, you're much better than I am, and I worked at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, and I try to speak English, and French, and I can read Hebrew.
Oh.
And but I don't speak it, and that's it.
That's it.
England, the United States.
Do you speak American?
New York. I try to.
We try to also.
I try to. If I could spend more days in my beloved New York City, I think after a few months I would have some hints, some flavor in my English.
Well, I'll tell you this: as an American, never lose your home accent, because what I have found is across the world, most people love a foreign accent. Because
I know that, but I can't stand the French accent. I know you love that in the United States, but I'm not going. I'm going to be a bit nasty.
Oh, please do.
The problem with the French, it is the loss of the empire, you know, and this is where comes from the arrogance from, you know, and they are convinced they can, you know, when you speak with a French guy, you say, do you speak English? Of course he speaks English. Of course, everyone speaks English in France, but they have this fucking bloody accent. I can't stand, and they always try to sound American, you know. And they say fuck in every sentence.
Very American.
And Yeah, perhaps, but it doesn't sound right.
I understand.
You know?
Doesn't flow
Yeah.
just perfect.
Yeah. It's just, I drove my fucking car in this fucking thing in this fuck. Okay, man. Okay, forget about the fuck. Forget the fuck. The F word. Forget the F word.
When a teenager first learns to swear in the U.S., you can tell they're new at it because they use it too much in the wrong places, in the wrong order. Yes. Or whatever, and you're like, chill out on that. Use it when you need it.
In a way, it is childish.
It is. They're trying too hard. Which
it is. Sorry.
I have another question about French culture.
Yeah.
So,
tell me.
In the U.S., well, we kind of make fun of everybody. We have all kinds of jokes that we make. In England, they often make fun of the French because. And it is quite often now, at least, tongue-in-cheek, and it's very friendly teasing and whatnot. Who do the French make fun of? Who do the French just, whether it's hate or just love mocking?
There is something with the British. It is something I hate because it is from I think the 100 Years' War. It is called It is, and for me, it is totally stupid. Because they always say the British this, the British that, the British do this, do that, and for me it is so tiring, tiring. It comes from the fact that there was rivals, where there was these two empires, and for example, there is always this battle between the English language and the French language, because at a time, French was the diplomatic language. Every contract, every treaties was written in French.
So you're the bastard that screwed up the legal system.
I don't think so. Because now that everything is written in English,
we're the bastards that screwed up the legal system.
Yeah. You are probably the British are the bastards. But the French, for example, I don't know anyone, an adult speaking a good English learned from school. It simply doesn't exist. So they are the how shall I put it? They are. Is it correct to say they are ahead at each time? They lose each time. They have to understand something precisely in English, except for the people who engaged in learning English properly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Real quick, a couple comments from the crew. Madam Perry says, quote, "And I worked at a Mexican restaurant," end quote, when I said that. I laughed, no, guffawed loudly, woke a corgi. By the way, that Mexican restaurant was run by a family of Mexicans, generations of it, and they brought Andrea and I to their house for Christmas and New Year's. I was very much immersed in their language and their culture, and they were very kind and said I spoke it well, but I know better. I know what speaking well, it wasn't what I was doing. And by the way, Madam Perry also says, just like Victor Sierra's Facebook page, message him, let him know that she's listening, invited you onto her salon, which is her podcast. And then, by the way, Andrea, I'd be delighted to have you on the show too. So, Andrea, there you go. It's
Yay.
Yeah, it's see, here on Talk of the Tavern, we love making the bad joke. Whether it's making fun of somebody who we don't tend to make fun of people we don't like. We make fun of the people we do like because they can laugh with us and do the same back.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we don't have a lot of hatred in our heart. And those that we do hate, we just don't want to talk about them. We have no use for that. It's
just ignore them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just better for our health that way. And I want to play another song.
What is it?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Andrea.
Je n'aime pas les gens.
You don't like people.
There you go.
Yeah. It is way better than the first time, Andrea.
Well, thanks
I'm
for your
learning.
tutelage. When we come
Yeah,
back from
yeah.
this song, we could do a little French lesson, and we could learn how to swear properly in French.
Okay.
It's okay. Unquiet Days is next one up, and you wanted us to play that one. Do you want to give a little background to this song, or do you want me to just play it?
Yes, it's a song. It's a song I wrote just a few weeks before the unfortunate attacks in Paris. I suppose you heard about this venue called Le Bataclan, and the attack on this very famous newspaper in France called Charlie Hebdo, and where so many people died. I had a friend from the staff of Charlie Hebdo who died this day, and we were all very anxious to know about our relatives, our friends who might have been in this venue when the attack took place. It was a song I wrote a few weeks ago, and unfortunately it bears now a much more deep meaning that I intended to in the first place.
So this is just speaking of the state of affairs in the world in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me go to play it. We could talk more about it when we come back. Here's Unquiet Days.
Some
I tell you what, Bob, listening to it sitting here with you makes it a very different song than just listening to it casually. Because you have the person that wrote this song that it has, I would guess, more meaning to you than most people. Now, no doubt there's some few people that took whatever song, this song, another song, and very much put it over their own life and relate to it. But in general, yeah, you listen to it and you have a new perspective when you have the person who wrote the song sitting there.
Yeah, certainly, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, and it ties in so well with, I didn't even realize when I opened up with, who do the French make fun of? It fits well into that whole conversation there.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I think I don't understand people who live to be angry or to hate or to be unhappy. And that's what they live their life as. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think we had some very bad stories these days. A few months ago, they should have hit the fan for a certain event in the United States. So we also had our share of bad blood. Last year, I remember after our gig at the asylum in the north of England, it was a very good show. But there was some people unhappy with it because they were expecting some dance music, but this typical dance music for the steampunk audience. Where they could dance or this kind of very old-fashioned dances, and with the social media, it is impressive how half a dozen people can raise a fuss about that, and it is the other side, the other face, the other facet of the medal.
Yes,
is it correct? I don't know if it's very very. Yeah, facet. Yeah.
Yes. No, I understand.
But in the end, let's forget about these people and let's drink with the good company.
I'll go with that. There we go.
Yeah. And Andrea too.
And if you can, you know what? These people that are the other people, try to bring them in and drink with them too, because we go a lot further learning about one another than hating each other in the dark.
Exactly.
By the way,
I agree with that.
Madam Perry says powerful lyrics and music touches the soul. So,
thank you very much.
It's So should we go straight from that into learning how to swear in French?
Let's go for it.
Hold on, I got to flip to a new page here so I can take more notes as we go.
How do you say?
Exactly. I've had a lot of throughout my life friends who speak different languages, and almost always when I'm like, teach me how to swear, they're like, no, and I'm like, why not? This is an essential part of communication.
It can be.
Yeah, in the right crowd, in a casual conversation, in a friend's.
Well, it allows me to swear at work and not get in trouble.
There you go.
Yeah, for instance,
well, if you remember the television series Firefly, they couldn't.
I never watched it.
It's actually kind of steampunk-ish. It's Old West and outer space.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
In general,
well, the way they got around swearing, they did it in Mandarin, in Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could ask my son who's learning Chinese at school, but I doubt that teacher would teach them to swear, how to swear in Chinese.
That's second year Mandarin. We don't do that in the first year.
Certainly.
Maybe college level even. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder what word is overused. Like we were talking about fuck earlier and how it's overused. especially by folks just learning either the language or learning how to swear, as in the American culture. Yeah. So what word in French is just way overused?
Overused
For swearing.
for swearing. I think people use a lot the word putain, which is fuck, which is equivalent to fuck.
Putain.
Not to fuck, but to fuck. I think it's the most common word used in French. Putain means whore, hooker. It is spelled Putain. And
I think that's a respectable way to make a living, by the way. I don't have a problem with that as a job.
yeah,
They make more money than I do.
Yeah, I don't either. But it is totally stripped from his original meaning when you use it like that. For example, if you say in English, "Fuck, I forgot to do that." In French, it would be "Putain, j'ai oublié de faire ça." And the word doesn't have any aspect of the prostitute meaning.
Right.
But it is used very, very, very often.
Talking Toei says, the only rude French word I know is merde, which I think that's the one most Americans know, and I don't even know why. I don't know where we picked it up. Perhaps music, perhaps...
Maybe.
Perhaps historic American films and French culture. I don't know.
It was more used before. Before it was more used. For example, there is this general from the Napoleon. I think you know Napoleon had a whole bunch of generals around him, and there was this one called. His name was Cambronne, Cambronne, and merde was his word. And for example, when it is the equivalent, for example, when you said the F word, not in order not to say fuck. If you say le mot de Cambronne, the word of Cambronne in French, it is to say merde without saying it.
See, that's a lot of words to say one word. And I think swearing, the point of swearing is you want a short one-syllable word that you could just bang, punctuate.
Yeah, to express your state of mind of the moment. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah,
So, Andrea, what words would you want to learn? And do you want to throw the American equivalents out, or?
I don't know.
for all our viewers, Andrea is learning French via this great app on her phone called Duolingo.
But she's also very well educated.
Yay. This is just so fun. What's a good phrase? I just want a good phrase that, like, Americans will say, it costs an arm and a leg, or something like that. What's a good French phrase?
It is exactly the same expression. It costs an arm or a leg, or an eye. Also in English, no, it costs an eye.
You can say that, but it's not nearly as common.
No, okay. So, in French, you would say "ça coûte un bras." It costs an arm. Ça coûte un bras. But you wouldn't say it costs a leg. Ça coûte une jambe. No, it's not just. But ça coûte un œil. It costs an eye. It is even more than it costs an arm. It is a rather current expression in French. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in English, we constantly create new slang words. I mean, there's words my son comes home with that I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
What?
I mean, I know what it's supposed to mean, but you're using it different. You guys had that kind of evolution in your language where, like, every 18 months there's a new word out there that you're like, what is that?
It's same here. I learned a lot of things with my son, who is 16, and obviously every 6 months there is another expression, and the others are totally lame.
Right. Yeah, you can't
The
use
formal
them.
ones.
It's what I have found, though, is if I go back to the expressions from like 20, 30 years ago, suddenly that's okay because it's been out of style long enough. It's now retro to bring it back. So, it's swear in the 1970s.
Well, on this app, to learn the language, after you reach a certain point, you can get special lessons. And one of them is flirting.
Sorry?
And I learned
flirting.
To flirt.
Flirting. Flirting. Okay.
And there's one, and I probably don't say it correctly, but let's see.
Tell me.
Tous les jours, je t'aime plus.
Well, there is something you have to know in French. The word plus. Okay. You can say it plus or plus. Pronouncing the final S.
Okay.
But then it has a different meaning. If you say to someone, je ne t'aime plus, without the S, okay, it means I don't love you anymore. But if you say tous les jours je t'aime plus with the final S, it means that every day I love you more. Exactly the opposite. So you have to take care of the final S. Yes.
Tous les jours je t'aime plus.
Yes. Good.
Okay.
Right.
Isn't she adorable?
Right. Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Did you write that down?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they don't explain that in there about the S. They don't explain it.
It is very important. It is something that you can have. It can be misunderstood very easily with this kind of trick. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what other words would you like to know, Andrea?
I don't know. I'm working on this.
Okay.
Let me get this down.
It's okay. Here we'll do this. Instead of just saying hello, how are you? We have other American phrases like "What's up?" In the 70s and 80s, we had "How's it hanging?" And that kind of stuff. So, what's the casual way of just going, "Hey, what's going on?"
What's new?
Okay.
What's new? Quoi de neuf? But it is very. It's not very. It is very, very old.
Right.
Like it has been used for years now.
So not nouveau. Not quoi nouveau.
I wouldn't know. I probably am not the best to ask to because I am swimming in English every day, and perhaps I have missed a lot of new expressions in French. But I will ask to my son, who probably is much more in the know. Yeah.
My boy is 15, so there's time.
Yeah, I suppose it's the same.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something, because I saw the expression, and sometimes I use it for in the category of what's up and how goes it.
Yes.
And you know what it is. It is totally the same expression than in French. Comment ça va? Because va, it's I think of the third person of the singular for the verb aller, to go. He goes, il va, and ça va. It's the neutral form to ask to someone how are you?
Right. Yeah, I remember that from first year French, right? Ça va,
yeah.
Excellent.
You would translate how are you to comment comment vas-tu? Comment allez-vous? Okay. Comment ça va? It's a rather vernacular expression, but it is very used by everybody. So how goes it? I was very surprised to find it in English.
It's there. And how goes it? Yeah, it's improper English, horrible English, but very common. You can catch it in any level of income. It's not just, oh, that's ghetto talk. You might catch Congress using that. How goes it?
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
Let me ask you, what's your favorite French food? When you guys go out, like in America, we're like, oh, we're going to get pizza, we're going to get burgers. In France, what do you get?
I am not very fond of French cuisine,
okay.
but I can drive a lot of kilometers to eat seafood.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is probably the part of the French cuisine I love the most. But I'm not very fond of this typical French cuisine with red meat, because I don't like red meat. Well, I'm much more fond of Chinese food, and I started to know it rather well. And that's it. Last time I saw a good friend of mine in New York City. He had oysters, but the American way, and he was asking me, okay, tell me what are the mistakes on this plate? And I said to him, first forget the green. Is it Chris? The green, and everything except the oysters, because in France they would have been served on what do you call it? Piled ice? No,
crushed ice or something like that.
Crushed ice, and that's it.
Now, was it raw oyster, or was it like oysters Rockefeller? What kind of oysters was he working with?
I wouldn't know. But it was raw oysters, not cooked, and they were pretty good, actually.
Now, where we are here, it's a big oyster place. They have whole festivals with just oysters, and the way it's normally served. Go ahead.
I have to visit you.
Yeah. it's big business here, and when they're served, normally it's just served. You crack open the oyster, and maybe there's some lemon there or hot sauce, some Tabasco.
And that's it.
Right. Yeah, there's not a lot. If they're going to put green on the plate, it's like one piece of parsley just to give it color. It's not meant to be eaten.
Yeah.
In October, there's a big festival. Thousands of people come to this little town for oysters.
More people visit than live in the town.
Yeah.
What town?
It's called Urbana.
Urbana?
Urbana.
Like urban.
Urbana.
Yeah, urban with a
Urbana. Urbana. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what's 3 of your great comfort foods from your childhood? Like here in the U.S., we think maybe meatloaf or chicken noodle soup or apple pie. These are things that you're... Oh, see, Talking Toey knows Urbana Oyster Festival. Andrea used to live there, and she would either work it or hide, not come out at all.
Yeah.
So what's, like, from your childhood, if we thought of classic French home food, not eating out, what's a few meals?
Sincerely, I wouldn't know because I, as my name says, and as you know, I'm Jewish, and I was born in a Jewish family, and the food I was eating, well, the special food I remember that I was eating when I was a child, but it was mostly for the Jewish celebrations, and it hadn't anything to do with French food. So
we're looking at matzo ball soup, chicken noodle soup, the classic.
Exactly, latkes, Jewish. I don't know what would you call it. Jewish delicatessen. pickles, everything I was not allowed to eat on normal days, because I remember that I loved pickles that much that I was drinking, it was, I don't know the word in English. It was the water of the jar of the brine, exactly, the brine. And it doesn't have anything to do with French food. I'm sorry about that.
Travis does that. He likes pickles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Next time we do an interview, you will ask Anouk about that because she knows a lot more than me about that.
Understandable. So did your family migrate to France?
Yes.
Or has it been there for many years?
No. My parents were born in France, but my grandparents wasn't.
Okay.
Weren't. I'm sorry, weren't. Yeah.
Very good. By the way, one of our co-hosts on Monday night, her name is Elizabeth, and she's known as the Pickle Lady, and she lives in New York City. And actually, I just sent her a message. In case she's at home, I'll bring her on because I feel like you two might bond quite a bit between Pickles and New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's meet at Cats.
I'll tell her. But I think she's working right now. So.
Okay.
But
yeah, she's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And a movie maker.
Okay. What does she teach? What does she teach?
Film, movies.
Okay.
Well,
drawing.
in school, it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's elementary school level, so
too.
the younger grades, first through fifth.
Okay.
And with that, it's basic stuff, because in elementary school, you really don't have subjects. You kind of teach one
sure.
class.
Obviously.
Well, they've started separating it a little bit here in the U.S., and students will leave their classroom to go learn math or art or science.
Sure.
But
yeah, her big thing is this is a computer. Your phone is a computer, and you can make movies on this.
Okay, right. I get it.
Which we do, but apparently kids, it's nothing more than a social media machine and maybe video games. So
I know some kids, friends of my son, who use a lot the iPhone to make some small movies, but it's a start.
I use it to do interviews at conventions and all kinds of things. My YouTube channel. If you don't see this background behind me, it's my cell phone I'm using to make the movie, or the video or whatever I have. And now, speaking of which, should we do another song or should we keep rambling on? What do you think? Another song?
I would say another song, yes.
Let's see. What do we have up next? Blood in the Skies or Dark Passenger? Which one is better for this next song?
I would say Blood in the Skies, because we had a rather light conversation about French food and stuff. Then Blood in the Skies, it's
Blood in the Skies goes well with French food.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got me on this one.
I'm going to be listening to lyrics on this one. We'll be right back. And remember, Bob, if you need to take a break during the song, run where you fill a drink or whatever. Pop away.
Okay,
and you are now just a face in the dark.
Do you want me to switch on some lights?
It's very dramatic.
It is.
Yeah, sure.
By the way, Andrea, I have realized when he covers the lower half of his face, he very much resembles Hugh Jackman. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's
Blood my song.
this blood in the skies. Let the last little bit trail off there. There we go. Now, I have a few comments. And this is unrelated to the song. So if you want to talk about the song, I can go back to my comments. Do you have anything more to add about that?
No.
Very good. That was concise. Looking at your background as you turn on lights.
Yeah.
One thing I love when I visit other countries, for example, when I went to Russia, I actually made a list of the little things that are different. And I have found if I'm watching stuff, anywhere from a movie to porn, I can recognize a Russian apartment because they all have these very subtle similarities. So even without somebody speaking, I can go, that's Russia. Even if it's an outdoor scene in a city, I'm like, that's Russian architecture. That's. And when we were in the UK, we reveled in the differences. Coffee with less sugar, more flavor, the way things are baked. In
Public
England,
toilets have big doors.
that go floor to ceiling instead of being this thing you hide behind in the US. People in the UK get in line. They queue up. In Russia, everybody moves in a huge mob. They're not pushing or shoving. Matter of fact, they don't make eye contact or touch at all, but they move together as this horde to get on the bus or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you lit up your room, I'm just fascinated because, this is part of you. This is part of your personality, your life. But also, it's part of France. And that's a long prelude to ask you, so when you visited other countries, in different countries, what little details stood out to you that were just small but amazing differences?
I love details, and that it can turn into a problem. For example, when I'm watching a movie, if something doesn't fit, for example, and it can be both ways when American make a movie where the action takes place in France and there are some big mistakes, and the other way around.
Right.
How people can imagine the life in America, for example. But I am very, very sensitive to these kind of details. For example, there is something very, very particular in the United States. For example, the doors. When I watch TV shows, series, a lot of doors are not glass doors, but the frame of the door. There is a piece of glass between the frame
Our
into
front
the
door
frame
is like
of,
that.
Yeah, and this is very bizarre because of course there is no violence in every part of America, but I always wonder when you are watching a movie with this kind of door, with just this very tiny lock with a little chain.
Yes.
Man, this is not a way to protect yourself,
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of little difference which is very, very visible from someone from Europe.
If you watch the difference between a New York door and a suburban door, like our door has this big glass oval in it, it was here when we moved in. I like a door that you can't see through. That's me.
Yeah.
But if you look at New York doors, they will have 2 or 3 deadbolts, maybe the chain also, so you can open it and look.
Yes.
But they'll have these
of course,
2 or 3 big, strong locks. And here, you have a deadbolt, but it's one piece of metal going into a wooden door frame that,
Yeah.
it's...
Well, nothing happens out here. We have a lot of cows. Lots of cows.
Cows rarely break in the doors.
They ask before.
They do. They're very polite cows.
Very well behaved cows.
Well, they visited many countries, these cows, so they know how to, charm and behave. It's in Russia, their vanilla ice cream was so superior to American ice cream. Their ketchup wasn't just this bland tomato water. It was a spicy tomato tomato paste that you put on things. And there are these small different, or like Andrea mentioned, the bathroom doors. You've been to the U.S., you know how the bathroom doors here in a public restroom, they're this sheet of wood, and you have a centimeter, 2 centimeter opening all the way around it, and on the bottom, you got 30 to 45 centimeters where you can see people's feet.
In the men's room, a lot of them don't have doors.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is something. You know what? I'm not that. When I'm at the beach, what do you call it? I go naked to the. I'm naked on the beach.
So you're not shy. Yeah.
No, I'm not shy, but for certain things, I think we need some privacy.
I agree. Yeah. It's and that's another thing. It's amazing, as much as Americans are like, oh, we're open, we're this, we're that, but nudity, the naked body, that kind of stuff, we are so prudish. But then our bathrooms, anybody can press their eye to the crack and watch you, and what is that?
But I have noticed something. For example, in Texas, in Austin, in Texas. Mm-hmm. I know Austin is now has turned into a city with a lot of universities and such, but they have what do you call it, a nature's beach?
Yes.
Where people,
so a nude
naturalist.
beach, or
naturalist beach, and I was very impressed in the heart of Texas. So I think probably America is a country of contrast, like in every part of the world. And you living there, perhaps you don't see the same way. You don't see the same way I see it.
Well, you have two views. You have the one where you pull back and look at all of America at once, and then you have the ones where you zoom in on certain spots.
Absolutely, yeah.
One of the American contradictions is we're supposed to be a melting pot, all different people's cultures coming together. And
but you're not.
We are, but it's mixing like oil and water sometimes. We should go, we have Mexican among us. Look at their cuisine. Look at their culture, their family life, how they stick together. Look at, our Irish immigrants from however long ago, our German immigrants after the war, etc. And as much as we go, oh, we accept everybody, whenever we get a new influx of people, all we do is bitch about it and go, oh my God, why are they here? This isn't their country. And my view is, it is. It's, we all came in at some point in time, and not necessarily to a warm welcome. Matter of fact, whether it's the Polish after World War I or the Irish in the mid-1800s, when these groups come in, we go, you know what? They are horrible people, even though they might be well-learned people and educated people. We're going to put them to work digging ditches, building railroads, whatever low menial labor we can give them, and they come in, they work hard. And a generation or two later, their kids or grandkids are going, oh my God, who are these people coming in? They don't belong here.
Yes, obviously. I think it's in the human nature.
I agree.
Well, a part of the human nature. I have noticed something a very big improvement in New York City 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Before I remembered before of a city where different communities were walking in the street, but never had any interaction between them.
Right.
And I have noticed that it has changed. Perhaps it's only New York and Manhattan especially, but I have noticed a sudden change.
I've noticed it also, and I agree. Yeah. Here we're in the Washington D.C. area-ish, and you can see the closer you get to a massive city, the more people blend, and then as you go out, and the further out you get, you will then get desegregation happening naturally. Which, when somebody comes to this country, it is natural that they migrate to what is most familiar. Which is why we originally had a Chinatown and a Little Italy in New York and all this. Talking to how he says we're all tribal, and many problems come from people turning a blind eye to that state of existence. So I understand why they do that. And it's good because it makes them feel that much more at home because they're around something familiar. But I also very much say, let's go out, welcome new people for a new experience and new food. If anything, new food.
At least new food.
That's right. Open your restaurant. I'm ready to eat.
Sure.
We eat at more Chinese and Mexican restaurants and other such things than we do American restaurants because
of course.
It's good stuff. So tell me about China. It's what?
It's such a long time ago. I was very young when I went to China. I couldn't say. I'm not able to say much about China because it has changed so much these last years. For example, when I remember when I went to Hong Kong, it was probably the only city on the Chinese, let's say, subcontinent that has these big buildings, skyscrapers, this mix between the very, very Chinese markets in the streets and these high rises. It was the only city having this aspect, and now you have Shanghai and other cities you never heard about before. Now I can't tell you much about China, except that it was a totally different world than the one I was living in at this time, and it still is because China. I don't know if it translates good in English. It's a good translation in English, but it is the Empire of the Midst. The Midst, is it correct to say that?
Empire of the Mists.
Yeah, and I'm quite sure that whatever buildings appear, whatever changes in the everyday life in China, whatever happens in China, they are in the midst of everything, and they probably, even if they it doesn't mean that they want to be in power of the rest of the world. It doesn't mean that, but they have this very, very important feeling to be the empire of the midst.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So time to visit again, huh?
Quite certainly.
So where's your primary fan base? Most of your fans, what country or region of the world are they in?
It changes year after year. I remember a few years ago, I think our fan base was much more in the United States, and now it turns out to be in the UK, probably because we did these two very important gigs at the Asylum in 2016 and in 2017, thanks to John Naylor. Do you happen to know John Naylor, the organizer from the Asylum?
No, I don't. I need to.
You need to. He's a very, very interesting guy because he organizes the Asylum, but he's a contraptions creator as well. And he creates a lot of things, very interesting things, and you have to catch up with him. And so thanks to him and his crew, we did our first gig in 2016. It was a totally chaotic gig because imagine that. For me, England was one of the places where everything began, has begun a long 50 years ago.
Everything began.
Then it began. Thank you for the information, and I was totally excited to play in England for the first time in my life, and 10 minutes before beginning our show, my amp went dead. My guitar amp, obviously. And it was totally chaotic finding a solution just minutes before starting the show, but it was very impressive. And in the end, we did one of our best shows ever. And then now we have many opportunities, not many, but some opportunities in the UK, and I think we get along very well with the audience there.
Well, I'm looking. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No.
At the moment, I would say our fan base is in the UK, but it can change, obviously. Yeah.
So not in France, huh?
We have fans in France, but it is very difficult here. It is difficult for music. It is difficult for let's say regular music. Why? So it is. But I don't know why. Well, I know why. I must admit, I know why. France is a country of clans, of clubs. If you don't belong to the clan, to the club, if you don't belong to the tiny mob,
I understand.
You can't play. There's probably France is, in Europe at least, is the country where the most important amount of festivals happen all along summer. There is I think there is in France only there is 400 festivals, summer festivals. To perform at these festivals, you have to know someone. You can't send an email saying, "Wow, I love your festival. I would be delighted to perform at it." You can't do that.
Well, speaking of summer things, you were scheduled to go to Steampunk World's Fair, which is now defunct.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, because I was looking forward to being there and being able to shake your hand in person, raise a glass in person, as well as
me too.
Victor and the Bully and Monty and all that. Because there's a handful of my favorites all in one building.
Yeah,
that would have been fun. It's so what we have to do now. Apparently, Andre and I have to find a festival over there. Which, knowing Greg Chapman, Dale Rolls, and as well as Monty, yeah. I'm hoping sometime over the next year or two, we can get Talk of the Tavern over there. Or the alternate plan is we just make enough money ourselves that we can go and not go as Talk of the Tavern, just show up and have a good time. Work. We would still do the same thing whether we pay or something.
But the Talk of the Tavern festival sounds good to my ears.
People have asked when you're going to do a convention or whatever, and my answer is never, because I've seen the shit people go through when they run one of these, and I want to be able to enjoy myself, which never is a long time. But if I did it, I probably would not do a traditional festival or convention. It would be work, but it would be a different kind of work in the sense of a lot of people would have more self-responsibility. I am not there to babysit people. And the schedule would be, here's the projected schedule, but it can change at a moment's notice. Because frankly, I'm here to help. I'm not here to do the work for anybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's selfish of me, but I don't care.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, it's to help you pull your equipment out or find a different amp or whatever. That's awesome. For me to go to your room and hold your hand and make sure you get to stage on time, you know what? Go home. I don't have.
I would hate that.
Yeah, and some people expect that. It's Or
I simply don't understand how people can behave like
Children?
all yes, or all pop stars, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And the other thing
Not
is,
my
I
type.
see at these conventions, like we were just discussing, everybody breaks up into their little cliques or clans or groups. And then you get a us and them mentality. And that's something I never want when I go to a festival or a convention. We're all us. And
Absolutely.
if there's a us
Definitely,
and them,
I
it's
definitely
because,
agree. Yeah.
them is the people that you brought in to be part of us. It's not somebody on the outside. They're now on the inside, and we're all
exactly
having a drink
yeah.
together
Yeah.
or dancing together. Do you dance? Are you a dancer?
I'm a stage person. I can do a lot of things on stage. I can dance, but I'm not that comfortable, you know, when I'm not on the stage or in my dojo.
Dojo would be the place you go to learn martial arts.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm a karateka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we could, if we ever are in the same place, we can have you perform and then do a martial arts demonstration.
I could do that. I would do that for you. Absolutely.
I'll let you throw me on the mat once or twice, and then I'll crawl away and cry.
No. But when we meet, I will perform a kata for you.
Oh, very good, very good. Now, what do you play on stage? Do you play an instrument also?
I play the guitar, 2 different guitars. I play the Algerian mandola, which is like what do you call a mandolin?
Yeah.
But a big one. And I also play the saz. The saz is a typical Turkish instrument with the body is like half a coconut.
Like a sitar.
It's not a sitar. Yes, it can. Yeah.
Similar in shape, smaller.
Similar. Yes. But much thinner. Thinner.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
I feel like you could pick up a sitar and do well with it.
Well, I doubt it. But
I think I'm projecting on you, but
I think you're projecting it. No, I would do something with it. Perhaps not playing, but I will do something for sure.
There we go. Speaking of playing, we're at the top of an hour. Let's go ahead and do another song. So we've got 1 hour left. We got 3 songs left in the queue. I think we can do this. Let's go with Dark Passenger. Sound good for the next one?
Yes. That's very good.
We're going to play this, and I am going to step away just for a moment and get a refill. And
okay.
So I'll be back in a moment. There we go.
So do I.
We're all bailing on everybody. So watch. Here's the song. We'll be back.
Trading secret pages
Water is there. Incompetent swine and put the blame on next in line and drink the cup of tears, grace each time promotion shines. Whatever your behavior, you know that it doesn't matter. We'll carry 8 passenger. Yeah.
My dog passenger. Yeah. My dog passenger. Yeah.
Whatever your behavior, you know that it doesn't matter. We'll carry 8 passenger. Yeah.
Okay, and we're back.
Hello, cat.
Yeah, that's Cuddlefish. Cuddlefish the cat. I named him
Cuddlefish.
so I can introduce people to my catfish. We'll just censor that part.
Yeah.
They have a much more European attitude about showing their butt, don't they?
Someone I saw someone not invented but made a joke of a video about an anus jewel for
I've seen
a
that.
cat.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah, it's on a little chain, you
was-
put it over the tail, hangs right over their butt. And it
Yes,
was real.
yes.
It wasn't a joke. It was, they made
It
these.
was
No, these,
no.
yeah, somebody was
Yeah.
selling these. And I'm like, what about when they go use the litter box? It's not like they can reach behind and lift it up. Oh, that's funny. See, I just asked Talking Toei what her schedule is on Wednesday for her broadcast. She broadcasts on Twitch also. And
Yeah.
because my thought is we do Wednesday is middle-aged gamers.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
and I thought about, we should bring Talking Toei on for that. But her broadcast time is the same exact as ours. It's not even long enough that we can rate her.
Mhm.
So, bummer about that. But it's there are some people that have standing invites, which, by the way, Andrea, interesting. I went to tweet, live on air talking about this, and Richmond Raceway has started following Talk of the Tavern.
Nice.
I don't know why, but okay. It's a racetrack for race cars, and here they are following us for whatever reason. Is this the small one? This is the one in Richmond, isn't the big one, right?
Yeah. This is. Everybody knows this one around the U.S.
This is very particular.
It is. It is. And I'm going to have to remember to tweet to them and make sure, I'll be like, come on the show, talk about racing. I don't know anything about
Absolutely.
it, but why not?
Yeah.
We could co-stream. Yeah, we could do that, and I'll behave. I'll watch my language, keep it, within your... I'm sorry, I'm talking to Toei now. She responded. We could co-stream sometime, work something out. Her show is much more family-oriented, so, I tend to try to behave when I'm... And respect the rules instead of being the foul-mouthed bastard that I normally am.
She does farming.
She plays farming
She
video
farms.
games. And I know that doesn't sound terribly exciting, but she is very amusing because
It is.
in her video games, they'll have like UFOs snatching cows out of the field and stuff like that. And she'll run her tractor over there and try to save the cow. There's more than that, but amazingly entertaining for something that you go. That she does.
Is it like a Minecraft at the farm?
It's more like if you remember the
Real
game-
life.
Closer,
Like
yeah.
Sims, yes.
If you remember Roller Coaster Tycoon and all the Tycoon video games.
I know. I never played. Video games because I'm don't like it very much. I don't like them very much. It's not judgmental. It just
Sure.
it's not my
Not
my
your
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, not
It's,
my thing. Yeah.
I am just too busy to do it. But Andrea and I found one
That's
video
why we
game.
have a show.
Right. We found one video game we like. It's a Lego video game. And you run around playing through the movies with the different Lego characters, and it's 2 players, so we could play it together. And we went, let's broadcast this as we're playing it on Wednesdays. So, yeah, we found a way to play video games and work at the same time.
I only play one game,
What's
which
that?
is called Word Feud.
I know
Just
it.
a second. And I play in English. Just a second.
Uh-huh.
And I play in English only. For example,
There it is.
Well, you know this. You know this one.
It's
Yeah. This is the only game online I play.
I used to play Words with Friends, which is like Scrabble online.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where as things got busier, I would go a week, 2 weeks without even logging in. I'd totally forget about it. And I would lose all the games I was playing.
And I feel for that. It's no use to play with friends, because you get tired very fast playing with the same people, because after a little while, after some plays, you know their tricks, they know yours, and it's no fun. It's much more fun to play against people you don't know, and you will never know.
Real quick, hey Des, thank you for the random bits of my face. Appreciate it, buddy. Des,
Well, the thing I like about Toei's game is, because it's farming, we see that here
yeah, we
with
can
the cows and
look
the
at
tractors.
back to work.
It's like looking out the window.
Thanks for
Okay.
dropping in, Des. Get back to work.
Yeah.
He just popped in for a second to say hello and then back off to his day job there. Who all do we have right now? Let me take a quick peek here and check our list of
We have
viewers.
Toei.
Well, I know we have Toei, and I think Skipper is still with us, and Bob is still with us. Navy Dad is still with us.
Oh wow, he's very quiet. You're quiet, Bob.
Well, he might be at work just listening in, and this is the other side of the show, Bob, that Monday nights
Yeah.
we kind of cut loose and misbehave, and here we are actually having real conversations. Well, Monday is still real conversations. We get some good stuff there. It's
It's a little more.
yeah, but that's also where we have 4 or 5 of us at any one time talking.
We have the pickle lady. We have our Brit. We have Ed.
Yeah, is there 4 or 5 of us? I always forget to count me, so I never know. What's your next gig? What do you got lined up next, Bob?
As I said before, I think at the moment we don't have anything before our 3 gigs in the UK. Will be on July 12th at Edinburgh. We're at a gig organised by our good friend Atticus Oldman, the guy I told you about a little before, sometime before. We'll be there. I think we'll share the stage with Feline and Strange there.
I have them coming on next month. They'll be on the
Yeah,
show.
people we know for a long time now. The day after, the 13th, we will be at North Star Rising,
Okay.
organised by Daniel Dunleavy. I don't know if you know him.
Don't know him.
He runs his organisation is called Impossible Gears, and so he's a very very nice guy, very very interesting to know, Daniel Dunleavy. And on the 14th of July, we will be at Hebden Bridge Steampunk Festival.
Where in the UK?
In
Hampton?
in Hebden, in the centre of England.
Gotcha.
And after that, we will be in Luxembourg for Anno 1900. It is a very nice place. We already we already played there twice in the past. It's organized by a guy called Steve La Sauvage
That
in
sounds
Luxembourg.
French.
Yeah, it's very interesting to play there. And afterwards, I've known since yesterday or 2 days ago that we will be at a splendid day out in Morecambe in the north of England, organized by some very nice people, Ian Roberts, Rose Roberts, and Rob Bracewell. It's a very, very well-known festival in England, a splendid day out.
I've heard of the
And
event.
Yeah, it's very. They are for me. These people are the essence of steampunk. Last summer, I spoke. We had a little conference at the asylum the day after the gig, and I met. As we are free to do whatever we want to do in the steampunk world, age doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I spoke with a guy. A guy intervenes in this conference last year, and he explained that he was 60 and such, and 40 years before he was a punk when he was in his 20s,
Mm-hmm.
in the 70s. So steampunk came into his life, and it was like he could have fun again, whatever his age. It is for me. It is the essence of steampunk. The people organizing a splendid day out are, I don't know their age, but of course they are not teenagers, and they are like people of a certain age trying to have the best of their life and have fun together and organizing things mostly for to have fun and
Right.
to enjoy life.
I have found with the steampunk community, any age
Yeah.
fits in, whether it's a 13-year-old kid or somebody into their 80s, and that goes straight for
Exactly.
performers or attendees. Anybody can walk in and
Yeah.
fit in.
Yeah,
And
sure.
when you have a group like Victor and the Bully, which I don't know if you've met them yet, but great guys if you have a chance to hang out with them.
Yeah, I
One
know
of-
them.
Okay, yeah, and they're right around 30, give or take 1 year. Matter of fact, Matthew just had his 31st birthday last week.
Yeah.
And then there's like Monty, who is at the other end of the spectrum and still up there and rocking the stage and
Yeah.
working the crowd. And
Exactly.
yeah, I think we all
Exactly.
understand. We're not going to get rich off this. We can hope we can, but we're here because there's a certain passion and love. Hey, thank you, Navy Dad. Appreciate that. Here's to the other Bob who just threw 101 bits at our face. But yeah, it's just
I take advantage too.
absolutely toast that, drink that. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just nice to, in general, we're getting together because we want to have a good time, whatever our skills.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly. It is.
Mhm.
And we have a good time hanging together, attending gigs, watching what people have to show. But in the meantime, it's always something very. There is a certain depth in our minds to in the steampunk world, and I wouldn't say that we are looking in the same direction, but we are living in a certain world. We were living in the usual world as everybody, but we have this special world in which we can
we can all agree
live
to
as-
get together.
yes,
good time.
exactly, yeah,
Now-
have a good time.
You've been performing for a few decades, I'm guessing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Sure.
I'm sure you've walked into gigs and you feel like the other bands, you're in competition with them. you're against each other.
Yeah.
You ever have that atmosphere?
I would say in the steampunk community we don't normally we don't have this kind
Correct.
of competition
Yeah.
because it's no use.
You're there to
It's no
support
use.
each other.
The first time we appeared on a steampunk compilation. I don't know if you remember that. It was made by a girl called Evelyn Creety. Yeah, and the song "Blood in the Skies" was after the title of the book she wanted to promote at the time. And that's the moment where we met French and the Punk, where we met Mark Rossmore from Escape the Clouds, other people as well. A lot of people, and we were Véronique Chevalier.
Mhm.
And we were all different from the polka cabaret of Véronique Chevalier to Victor Sierra or to Escape the Clouds or to French and the we were all different, and we hadn't any reason to compete in the as bands. But I would say that obviously human nature is human nature, and then
Sure.
I know we have I feel that we could have some, let's say, competitors,
Sure.
but we don't give a shit.
There
actually.
is competition where you try to bring each other down and beat the other one. Then there's competition where you do it to make yourself better, and you raise
Yes.
each other up. And especially,
Exactly.
and whether you're performing the same feel in your music, or whether you're as different as you and Professor Elemental,
Yeah.
it's just nice when you're out there to not, I don't know, enforce the positive, not worry about the negative.
Yes, exactly, and you can take idea from another band, and probably use it and turn it into something new, and this is is it English? Is it emulation?
Emulation.
Emulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the correct way to have competition.
Yes. Yeah, I
You
agree.
know, this is and sometimes some bands act so in such a nasty way that they find themselves in a very dire strait afterwards because no one wants to hire them anymore. And you see, I'm quite sure that you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm happy to say no. I know a few of them that are like what you're talking about, but they're not on my radar anymore. It's
Yeah.
not
Yes.
worried about it. Yeah, they're.
This is yeah.
I
Yes,
don't
yes.
wish them any ill. I just have no use for being in the same place.
Yes. Why are you acting this way? Why? What for?
What do you get out of it? I actually did a whole
Yes.
video on the benefit of hate, and who
Yeah,
benefits at all from any of that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
It is definitely stupid, and well,
Yeah, I agree.
that's yeah.
Yeah, I'll drink to that. There we go. Now, let's see. What do we have? We've got about 40 minutes left. We got 2 more songs. So what I'll do in a few minutes, I'll go ahead and we'll play another one. And then about 15 minutes out from the end of the show, we'll play number 6.
Okay.
So,
I
Mhm.
put the link for the Bandcamp to find your music.
Thank you.
If they would like to follow you on Facebook, I put the Facebook page for the band up there, and what to look for Twitter.
And
there you go.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like would you like me to talk about the new album now, or?
oh, yes, please.
Yeah. I would like to say that we did 3 crowdfundings in the past to finance to fund our albums, and this year we decided to do otherwise, and we decided to launch a pre-order, and the pre-order is on our Bandcamp.
I like that.
And as usual, we try to offer something personal to our fans, or to simple people buying our CDs. And Anouk had the idea to make a Victor Sierra's daguerreotype. Do you know what daguerreotype is?
The art form, right?
Sorry?
The tintype type picture.
It was a technique to make a photo at the same time in the 18th century. So obviously it's not a daguerreotype. It's not a real one.
Right.
But it's some kind of daguerreotype, and because we have a special limited edition, deluxe edition, with the CD, the signed CD, the daguerreotype, and an armband. Which is some an armband to celebrate the Manchurian Pass event nobody knows about, but it's nevertheless it's an armband.
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
Maybe I'll have to send you one of those.
Yes.
Get you a talk to the tavern patch out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have applause. No, it's okay. It's applause.
Okay.
Yeah.
People,
our viewers can do sound effects on the show, whether it's cats meowing or applause or breaking glass.
This is great.
Yeah, it allows them to interact and in more than just typing. They also have things where they're given points. We call them shots, and they can turn those into play a sound effect on the show, or have us do something like, for example, I can do what they call bad dad jokes.
Yeah,
or
this is great.
Beauty
I like
tips.
it.
It's fun. And anything to help the community be a part of what we do. It's just
this is very important. This is very important.
It is. Well, it's the same thing you're talking about with what you're doing. You want to give something a little personal.
Yes, and this is very important to us.
We have a question from the audience.
Tell me.
The other Bob says, I cannot ask him to say cannoli, can I? Now, what we could do, we can make him throw bits at us, so you'll say cannoli. It was a joke he was running last night, having everybody say cannoli.
Cannoli. It's a name.
It's a pastry. It's an Italian pastry.
It's a pastry. Okay, cannoli.
There you go, Bob. Cannoli for you.
Cannoli. That's it. Cannoli.
It's you don't have cannolis there, no?
I don't know shit about it.
Here, let me see if I can find a link to cannolis, and they're slightly phallic shaped. But they're.
Why am I not surprised?
It's our audience. So there'll be a crispy pastry outside, filled with. Mm-hmm.
It is cannoli, like the name cannoli.
Well, here, give me a second. I'm gonna grab you a picture here.
It's a pastry filled with cream.
Okay.
But it's long.
So yeah, if you Google cannoli, CANNOLI.
Yes, but I have a lot of cannoli people. Cannoli pastry then.
Let's see here. Let me pull this up for you, and I'm going to send it via Facebook there, so you can see.
I see it.
You see it.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
it's very cylindrical.
It is. It is a little phallic there.
And that's the reason why it's funny.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yes. Obviously.
Look at our people accept you as they ask you to do these things. And each year 100 bits for that. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not very into pastries, but I will try it when I'm in the States.
Oh, you know what? I'd recommend you get one from Europe instead, because the American ones are probably going to be mostly sugar. If you get it out of Europe,
if you could get it in Italy, That's the best place.
In Italy, okay. If we happen to be in Italy, I will try it. Can't.
In the U.S. at least, the French are famous for their pastries and their pastry chefs. So you might be able to hit your local baker if you have those around still. We don't tend to have those anymore. They have a grocery store where they sell everything and everything's prepackaged and not fresh.
I will ask around me.
There you go.
And I'll tell you.
Yes, so let us know what you think of your first cannoli.
So, are you going to be in the U.S. anytime? You're going to be here?
I would like so much to go back to the U.S. Unfortunately, at the moment we had only the Steampunk World's Fair, which is cancelled.
No TeslaCon this year?
I'm sorry?
You're not going to make it to TeslaCon this year?
I think at the moment Eric John Larson is not very keen to make us come. I know he finds us too dark for TeslaCon.
Really?
Which is but I don't. Well, okay. Perhaps he will change his mind. The main problem for the United States is the travel expenses.
Yes.
You know, it is already something like $3,000 or such.
Right.
And obviously it's always the main problem. And events which are not the size of Steampunk World's Fair cannot afford us.
Right. Understandable.
I'm sorry?
Understandable.
Yeah, but I really hope that we will make it to the US anytime soon. I would love to come back. Yeah.
I think it'll be easier if we go visit him at one of the many festivals.
We can do that.
Yeah, let's make that happen. It's I can't imagine having to transport equipment on top of yourselves. I'm guessing you would, if you come to the US, you have to use other people's equipment besides your instruments.
Yes, but even with our instruments and all the computers and big machine stand behind us, it's already a problem. We already have to pay overweight.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a problem. It was when the unfortunate events happened. I was negotiating with Jeff about that, because it always costs a lot of money, and of course we were ready to I'm ready to play with anyone's guitar amp. Anyway, I don't carry it with me when we go overseas.
Makes sense. So, Who would you like to perform with? What other? If you could name a lineup of bands on the stage, including yourself, who would it be?
Well, we already performed with Professor Elemental, with the Man That Won't Be Blamed for Nothing, with Sunday Driver, with Frankie and the Punk a lot of times.
Right.
I would like to perform with Mark Rossmore, who is a very good friend of mine. I would like very much to perform with John Sprocket of the Cog is Dead. Because
I like their music.
Because he is such a nice guy, and I met Monty several times, and we are very, 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 I would say, close friends now. But we never shared a stage. Yeah. So I would like very much to share a stage with him. And
need to get him to MC the show, and between bands he could do a number or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to. We never performed with Victor and the Bully, but I'm quite sure it will. But we will this summer, and Phil Island's Train as well. But we will this summer as well.
I'm looking for. I have never met her or interacted with her besides having like 2 songs, and when I posted that big post of, hey, I want my European bands to come on.
I think she's unique. She's unique. What else? And there are other bands I don't necessarily remember the names. I spoke with this girl Valentine Walls.
Yes, out of North Carolina.
Valentine Walls. I would like to share a stage with her.
Her
Who
and
else?
Braxton are very nice. We see them a lot at our.
Yeah, she's a
local
very nice girl. Who else? But actually, I'm ready to share a stage with any steampunk band in the world. I'm quite sure we'll have fun.
Yes.
No, I voluntarily I haven't voluntarily mentioned one band. I won't be very pleased to share a stage with any more.
Well, I tell you what, we don't have
yes.
to mention them now. When we go off air, you can mention them, and then that way I'll know if I ever do a festival of my own.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm ready to we are ready to perform anywhere with any band, and I'm quite sure we'll have fun with that.
Absolutely. Speaking of fun, let's do The Road Not Taken, and we could dedicate it to the future Talk of the Tavern event that will never happen.
Yeah.
So here's this. Anything to say about it before I start it rolling?
No, it was a good quote from you.
There you go. Here's this, guys.
Actually, it's En route vers l'inconnu.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, are you saying you want me to play the other song?
No, not at all. I was saying that it is En route vers l'inconnu and not The Road Not Taken.
Oh!
What? Never mind. We'll say it afterwards.
Very good. Back to the song.
Il fait sombre dans la chambre de cartes. Les questions flottent dans la fumée bleue des cigares. Des messages entrent et des courriers partent.
So I have that song, and then the other one. Is there two versions of this?
No, this is the only version of this one. Regarde l'inconnu.
See, I have this came off Electric Rain.
No, it comes from Yesterday's Tomorrow.
See, I have that one, but yeah, I have the Road Not Taken. I wonder if my computer has messed up somewhere, and it's replaced the Road Not Taken with. I'll have
It
to.
has a
Mhm.
it has a behavior of its own.
It does.
Your comp. Yeah.
See, I'm wondering about. I'm gonna have to check the rest of that album because sometimes when you load a new CD on,
Oh yeah.
it will replace an old one with the new one because it thinks it pulls the information from online.
Yeah.
So-
Possibly. Yeah.
I have to make sure
Yeah.
White Rabbit is still good and Mastermind and
Yeah.
Yiddish
Yeah.
Club. It's
Yes.
right. Where was I? No. Okay. I don't have it. Oh, I wanted to tell you. After I put this up, 24 hours after it ends, I can put it on YouTube, and I do that with all the shows. So I will be able to send you a link to YouTube where if you want to share this with anybody, you'll have access to the full 3-hour show.
Great.
So-
Great.
Or if you want to not share it and tell people to stay away from it, whatever fits. I don't think we misbehaved too bad. I think we'll be okay.
No. No.
It's-
We're quite well educated.
Hey, Jeanette has logged in. She's out of the UK. So glad to see you, Jeanette. Thanks
Jeanette.
for popping in.
Oh,
Jeanette McLean.
No, Jeanette, what is it? Cartwright, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It's somebody just did something. Oh, there we go. Hey, General Wisdom, thank you for following. That is quite the explosion. Appreciate you having following there. Thank you. Here's to you. Now, Jean, have you? Wait, she says yes. I don't know if that's to the Cartwright or the other name. Do you have two names? Possible.
probably Cartwright.
But she has probably has a chance to see you in the UK in your couple of shows coming up. So
Oh, great.
she's a
Right.
fine lady. I enjoyed meeting her at Steampunk's World Fair last year. So she's
Okay.
a great person to have as your fan. Oh, Gene says yes, it's me, Bob. So I think you have it correct. Perhaps just
Okay. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Jeanette. I remember last time we see each other, Jeanette. It was when we were having lunch outside a small restaurant at Steampunk World's Fair last summer. I remember you. Well, of course I remember you. I knew you.
Wait, you were there last year? We were there. How come we didn't meet?
I'm sorry.
You were there last year in 2017?
2017 at the Asylum.
Okay.
I
You
made a
said-
mistake. I said
Yes.
Steampunk World's Fair.
Okay.
Okay. So no. So
Okay.
okay.
Make
My mistake.
We
At
didn't
the
miss an
Asylum.
opportunity. And yes,
Yeah,
she says Lincoln.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Lincoln. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were with Monty. Yeah.
That's going to be quite a lunch.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I've enjoyed this episode. It's been very relaxing and laid back. It's amazing how many
And educational.
and educational. Yes,
Yeah.
it's amazing after each show, and this is why I love what I do here. Very rarely do we walk away going, "Well, that show wasn't very good." We have some that it wasn't exciting, but we had a good time.
This is our second Tuesday Tunes, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I enjoyed my time with you guys. It is very for several reasons. First, I love you. You know that.
Oh.
I love you both. And I enjoy talking with you. I enjoy through you talking to a lot of people. And also, you know that, Travis, I am fond of the English language. So it's any time I can talk and improve my English, it's such a pleasure for me.
And 4 hours sitting here with us, you sure do get that chance.
Yeah.
Since I only have a sentence or two in French, and Andrea has A little
have
bit more than
three.
that. Yes, 3. So, yeah, we're definitely speaking.
It's a start. It's a start. It's a good start, I will say.
Something I've told people about, whether it's when I worked at the Mexican restaurant or throughout my life, where anybody is nervous about speaking any foreign language, but in particular, when they're like, oh, well, I'm afraid to try to say this in English because I might mess it up. In general, and I can't think of any time where this rule has not applied, people love it when you try to speak their language. They're appreciative of it.
Yes, of course.
They may laugh, they may correct you, but they appreciate the effort that you're going, I want part of your culture to appreciate it. And really, to hell with this cultural appropriation things where people say, you can't do that because you're taking their culture away. No, you're sharing their culture. You're experiencing it.
Don't get me started with this cultural appropriation, please.
We have a show about that.
We do.
Yeah.
We have
a show in which we will perform cultural appropriation in every meanings possible.
Absolutely.
Every possible meaning.
I'll dress in my lederhosen.
I'll wear my Indian outfit.
There you go. That's something else. We have gone to Indian festivals here in Virginia, and we bought outfits. Great price too, and of course we were welcome there. And later we went to Mysticon in Roanoke, a science fiction literature convention, and the gentlemen running the hotel were Indian. And when they saw me, and they had seen me before and interacted, they stopped me and they said, "Can we get pictures?" And I went, "Of course." And they took pictures and they thanked me, and I'm like, "You should see Andrea." And when we brought her around to them, they took pictures, and then they called their wives at home. And there was a group of 12 Indian women later waiting to meet Andrea. And they even, came out after dinner when the kids were in bed and did henna on her arm and everything. And they were just so welcoming. And that's how I usually...
It was nice.
Yeah, that's life. That's life. That's normal life.
It should be. So if somebody looked at us, and I actually, when we were getting dressed in the Indian garb, I looked at Andrea and I says, "Do you think somebody's going to get upset that we're wearing this?" And she went, "Maybe." I went, "Okay, let's go." And we went out, and it was just a good time. Whether it was the Americans looking at us or the Indians, everybody was like, "Yeah."
I found it's Americans that have problems, not the cultures, the other cultures. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it happens on this side of the pond as well.
Mm-hmm.
The cultural appropriation, all this rubbish, all these, as if the world wasn't already a hard place to live in. Where the people have to find other limitations and other things.
When it comes to sharing food also, I learned to cook Indian from my Indian friends.
Right.
I learned to cook
Asian
when I worked at a Japanese restaurant. I learned to cook Mexican. I did it a little, but I do it so much better after a year and a half at the Mexican restaurant. And not because of the restaurant food, but because I got to take these people, the men or the women, depending, they each had their own views, and asked them, "How do you cook this? How do you do this?" And they were more than happy to go, "Oh, I'll tell you. It's beautiful."
Yeah. This is human interaction.
It is.
Of course.
And sharing.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to share?
Absolutely. It would be as stupid as the thing we were talking about a few minutes ago about competition, bands competition.
Yes.
It is as stupid as that.
Talking Toey says some people would rather get agitated by a fake problem than take the more difficult road of addressing real ones. Sure, it's easy. Yeah, it'd be as silly as if I was singing your song, if somebody went, "How dare you sing Bob's song? You're appropriating his music." What?
Yeah.
No, I like it. It's
please.
No, you're
please.
appreciating.
I would appreciate it. Please do it. Be my guest.
Just maybe not in public. It's I told you about that carrying a tune thing that I have.
Beware! I could invite you on stage next time I'm in the US and you're there.
It's and I won't say I wouldn't come up.
I take you on that.
It's, but we would have to warn folks ahead of time to understand.
see.
Don't try this at home.
Don't try it yourself.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've just always I grew up in a very cultural diverse part of South Florida. As the Cubans were coming in after the South American, Central American influx, and of course we had the New York Jews would retire to South Florida, and
Yeah.
I grew up in predominantly black areas, and I never thought anything about it. And as I got older and more aware of the world and how it works, I realized this was a hotbed of hatred. That whole area I grew up in where I was like, hey, let me go to your house or your church or your event or whatever to see what it's like there. I came to realize, oh, that's not normal. Most people are like them and us. And I'm like, I want to eat your food. I want to hear your music. I want to go to your place. I want to experience something I can't do at my house until I learn how to do it.
Yeah.
It's stupid people. That's why I don't like them.
Yeah. We have to address these problems and go against them.
Yeah, it's and this is why some of my political views don't agree with others when it comes down to immigration and everything. I'm good with doing it legal. I'm not saying there shouldn't be rules, but I am saying we should work towards acceptance, not. Diversity should be a good word, not a bad word.
Exactly. I agree with you.
So let's see here.
You know why that makes me think of something not totally related, but when I was a kid, for example, black music wasn't around in my family, not at all. I remember this day when I find out about the 60s rhythm and blues at a friend's house. Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, others. And I remember how stunned I was, and it never left me, this love for black music. Even if I think it doesn't show much in Victor Sierra, but it is very so important to me.
It's a diversity. It's a different way of viewing things. It's looking at something either that from a different point of view, or something brand new. And to me, that's what life is about. I want to experience other things. And I have my favorites. I have things that I love that I've done forever, but there's always something new, and till the day I die, there'll always be something else that I'm willing to try, interested in trying, even if I don't know that thing exists yet.
Yeah, but it can in the Altiverse.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, for example, if you brought me to a Yiddish music festival, I didn't know those things existed, but do I want to be there? Oh yeah, I want to hear, I want to see, I want to try the food, I want to feel the atmosphere.
I don't remember who I was speaking with, but once I was telling someone that Yiddish could be one of the languages of the steampunk world, because it is a language that has many roots, and actually no roots at all, and it can be spoken in everywhere in the world, and it has so many stories attached to it, so many legends and so many non-existent things attached to it, and it could be one of the steampunk languages.
I agree. And music is universal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah, sure.
I do enjoy an opera more so if I can understand it. Now that can be one of two things. It could be in English, but sometimes you lose something when you translate it. So give me subtitles so I understand.
Yeah,
But even without subtitles, you get the emotion, you get the mood, you get the feel. There's still a
sure.
message conveyed, even if you can't
Sure.
understand the words.
Yeah,
And that's why you'll find
Yeah.
a lot of in my playlist when I write. I mentioned earlier, I'll put techno or something up there with no
Yeah,
words.
yeah.
But if I do have words, I quite often have foreign language songs
hmm
because then I won't get
Mhm.
stuck on the words. It is the mood that helps push the
Yeah.
writing forward. And
yeah,
yeah, baby, that's the way.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left. Any closing thoughts here while we wrap things up?
Well, I think I don't have anything more to say except that I was very happy to talk with you guys,
Man, thanks for
and
coming on.
it was as agreeable as it was for the first time many years ago. And I'm happy to have improved my English to be able to speak with you. The much easier way for me, at least.
Hmm.
And I wish you all the success you deserve, guys.
Well, thank you. It's I love how your English-speaking accent. I have heard touches of Irish, touches of Australian, and then of course a lot of British in there. So it's fun to hear the
Yeah.
changes because when I do an accent, yeah, it goes everywhere. I will start with an Irish accent and it'll end up Jamaican. So it's I don't know. It's the music of language.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And
I agree with you. Yeah.
Now, doing our little pimpin', don't forget tomorrow we have from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Middle Age Gamers where I think I'll be playing a zombie game all by myself, and let's see how that goes. Next
Because I
Monday,
won't be here.
no, Andrew's got to take care of business. Monday, we have Calamity Dawn, which is Sarah. Really, I forgot Sarah's last name.
Camarado.
Thank you, Camarado. And we'll be
And
discussing.
it is for.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go.
It is We Didn't Start the Fire.
We're going
Talking
to be.
about. Go ahead.
No, please.
Nope. I'm muted.
Oh. Okay, we're going to discuss people bitching about, those kids nowadays, and point out how when we were their age, our generation, our parents' generation did the same thing. When they were kids, the same thing. These problems, these issues that we're still fighting about have been here all along. And we will go as far back as we can, even to like ancient Greek culture. Because, this is not
Cool.
new. So
Cool.
the same as complaining about, the generation before us ruined things. That's not a new concept.
Yeah. Quite interesting. Quite interesting.
It'll be a fun conversation.
Yeah. Good idea.
Now,
And Thursday we have VIP.
which we don't know what's going on this Thursday. It might just be Andrew and I hanging out and talking.
Who knows?
But if somebody wants to be on, drop me a line and let's see if we can't get you on. We're looking at broadening not only our American audience, but bringing in a lot of our worldwide audience. So,
Well, Kevin may come on because he's off
That's
of
true.
work and he's in the UK, so it's international.
worst comes to worst, we will have a German beer or a Cuban cigar or something not American on the show. That's our worst case scenario. So join us for that, guys. And what was the other thing I wanted to plug? Maybe that was it. What's our next event? Our next live event is actually this weekend in Richmond.
It's Saturday.
Cosplay in the
Mhm.
Park, where we're kind of raiding another. Speaking of raids, I need to see who's on. Raiding another cosplay group and going out to hang out with them and hopefully bringing a few people with us. We don't really have anybody else.
And I put a link again in the chat. Check out the music of Victor Sierra and keep a lookout for their new album.
Mhm.
Click the link for the Bandcamp.
And Bob, you know
Thank
when your
you.
new album comes out, you can say, Travis, I want to come on your show. I don't want to be there 3 hours. I want to be there 10 minutes or 3 hours. You're
Okay.
welcome. Always let us
Okay.
know. Let us do the little bit.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much, Travis. Thank you very much, Andrea.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help.
Merci.
Oh, great. Very well pronounced, Andrea.
Very nice. It's I'm just seeing who else is on as we're about to go. So, too bad Toey's not broadcasting. I always want to raid the people I know, but see,
Yeah, it looks like no one's on right now.
in Twitch, what happens, Bob, is when you leave your broadcast, you can put a command into the chat, and it'll basically link everybody watching you with somebody else that you like, so it sends them over to their show. And it's a polite thing, a way to grow. Jeanette, I'll look forward to you on the Thursday show. It's we do want to do a whole show on Thursday, not this Thursday, but a Thursday, where we compare American festivals and conventions to European festivals and conventions and the differences,
Okay.
good, bad, and otherwise.
So I think Janet can tell you a lot about conventions in the UK.
I think she's been to both because, yeah, she's been to.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, we met her here. So
Oh, okay. She's been with Steampunk World's Fair, something like this.
you got it.
Okay.
So we're going to take the music out. Bob, hang out for a minute, and we'll talk to you
Don't
for a minute
forget
or
to
two
join
after
us
we
at
get
the
off there.
tavern next week. Until then,
And we'll catch
have
everybody
fun,
else tomorrow or
keep
next
learning,
week.
and be good to one another.
Okay.
Oh, closing
Now,
toast.
raise your
Bye.
glass and
Here's the
good cheer.
diversity done the
Enjoy
right way.
Small moments every day,
Cheers.
and steamy dreams every night. Mark Rossmore there. Have a good day, guys.